Okay, for number one, it says in a square, I see the image by the way, the length is side one, all right? So what I'm gonna do over here is just, I'm gonna start to label this diagram in a coordinate system. I'm gonna say this is the point 0, 0. This point over here is gonna be 1, 0. And this point over here is gonna be 0, 1. It's a square of sides of length 1, by the way. And that's gonna be a point 1, 1. All right? So I see the square, and I put in a coordinate system. Then they go on and say there's a quarter circle there. I do see the quarter circle, by the way. All right, so the quarter circle, I'm seeing that. All right. I know the radius of that quarter circle is going to be a radius of 1. So that quarter circle has a radius of 1. And this is the quarter circle. I'll call it RQ. Okay, let's keep reading it. Then there's a half circle. I do see the half circle there is drawn to the right side of the square, and that is its diameter. I do see that. So I'm going to say that half circle, that is a radius of 1/2 then, because the diameter is 1. All right? And let's keep reading it. A smaller circle is drawn tangent to the quarter circle and the half circle. I do see that. I see a tangent to those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my ruler out now and try to visualize the radius of this thing over here. And the way I'm going to do this over here, I'm going to try to get this thing to go through the point of tangency. All right? So let me draw that in now. Again, I'm not saying it's going to be a terribly accurate drawing of it, but something like this over here. All right, then put another line in. And I'll rotate this thing around. There's some trouble with this, you know. You know what? I gotta put the center down now first, don't I? And the center's going to be over here somewhere. Again, I got to ballpark it. So I'm going to say this is going to be, let's see, 1, 1/2. And I'm just ballparking, by the way. That's all I'm doing. Let's go back over here. I'm going to try to draw that in now. And again, I'm not saying it's terribly accurate, but I certainly want to visualize what's going on over here. And again, it's really not that accurate. And put something like this over here. Okay, let me get rid of the ruler. And again, it's a rough picture. I want to talk about this thing over here. And what I did was I drew it through the center of all 3 circles at this point. All right, those lines. All right, so what do I know about this over here? I'll outline one thing at a time. That over here, that the length of this, right, the length of that segment here, it's going to be the radius of that half circle, which is a half, plus the radius of the small circle, which I don't know yet. I'm just going to call it, well, you know what I could call it? I guess I could call it Y, indicating that that would be the, this point over here. I write this over here, would be Y. Oops, not Y. No, that's not true. Would be some X value. I don't know what that is yet. But I do know the X is between 0 and 1, and the Y value, which is also between 0 and 1. So the radius is just Y. So what's the length of that red highlighted line over there? It would be 1/2 plus, and again, there's a radius there, there's a radius here. So 1/2 plus Y. All right, so I got that part done. Let's go to the next one. And let's talk about this length over here. All right, and we'll talk about that guy's length right now. So the length of this guy over here, oops, it's the radius of that quarter circle, which is 1. And it's just the length. I'll put the length down. Or you might want to call it distance. So this is going to be 1 plus, and again, I got the radius again. And what did it say the radius was? The radius was Y. Okay. Let me get my eraser out and sort of erase things that I don't need anymore. I gotta start thinking about what to do now. They want to determine the radius, so I'm trying to find y. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to use the distance formula. So I want the distance between those 2 points, which I know is 1 plus y. What's a good distance formula? Let's put this down. It's going to be, let's do the y first. It's going to be 1 minus y. And then 0 minus x. I'm going to square both sides. I get 1 plus y quantity squared is equal to 1 minus y squared plus, I'm just going to put down x squared there. I'm going to simplify that, and I get 1 plus 2y plus y squared. This is going to be 1 minus 2y plus y squared plus x squared. Well, the 1's disappear. I get 4y. The y squareds disappear, and I get x squared. So what do I know? I know 4y is equal to x squared, by the way. All right? Let's do the other one. I'm going to do that distance now. And let's see. It's 1/2 plus y equals, let's see, let's do the y first. So it's going to be 1/2 minus y plus 1 minus x squared. I'm going to square both sides. You get 1/2 plus y squared equals 1/2 minus y squared plus 1 minus x squared. I'm going to go to the bottom of the page, a little more room, by the way. So one thing I do know, I know 4y is equal to x squared. That's right over here. Let me do the other guy. And what's that going to be? 1/4 plus a y plus y squared. I'm doing this over here, and I'll do this. That's going to be 1/4 minus y plus y squared is equal to 1, whoops, I'm not equal to, plus 1 minus 2x plus x squared. And again, I got to simplify to see if I get some relationship. Someone says, what are you looking for? I'm really looking for the value of y, and y is the radius of that small circle. And what do you get over here? You get, let's see, the quarters disappear. You do get 2y. The y squareds disappear. And then you get, let's see, 1 minus 2x plus x squared. All right? Let me see if I did that right. I took the quarter from both sides, added y to both sides, took y squared from both sides. Yeah, it looks okay. So I'm going to look at this over here and see what I can do over here. And I'm going to multiply this thing by 2. And you get 4y equals 2 minus 4x plus 2x squared. You say, why did I do that? I know that's equal to x squared now. So x squared is 2 minus 4x plus 2x squared. All right? I think I can solve this. And what do you get? You get 0, x squared minus 4x plus 2. Let me see. I took x squared from both sides. Yeah, look, minus 4. Okay, good. Of course, I can't factor that, not using integers, by the way. So I can use quadratic formula and see what I come up with over here. By the way, before I go on, I want to point out, I know x is a positive number between, let me go back over that. I know the x is a positive number between, looking at it, between 0 and 1. And I know the y, which is what I want, is also between 0 and 1. All right, I know that much looking at the picture. So let's write this down now. What's x going to be equal to? Use quadratic formula. It's going to be 2 here. That's going to be 4 plus or minus 16, and then minus 8. Let's keep going. X equals 4 plus or minus, that's going to be the square root of 8, which is 2 root 2. And so I get x equals, let's see, you'd get 2 plus or minus the root of 2. That's two separate numbers, by the way. One of the numbers is 2 plus root 2. The other number is 2 minus root 2. I want to point out 2 plus root 2 is not possible. And why is that? Because it's bigger than 1. And 2 minus root 2 is the only possibility for x. So I'm going to say x is equal to 2 minus root 2. Now someone says, what was their question? Their question is, what's the radius, right? What's the radius y? Now, do I have a relationship? I do, and the relationship's over here. I'll write this down for you. So 4y is equal to x squared. Let's write this down. So 2 minus root 2 squared. So 4y, again, y is the radius. That's going to be 4 minus 4 root 2 plus 2. Gee, I'm running out of room. And again, I'm going to say 4y is equal to 6 minus 4 root 2. Gotta be careful here. Divide both sides by 4. I'll write it down over here somewhere. And y equals 6 minus 4 root 2 over 4. I'm going to divide through by 2. You get 2 here. And then you get 3 minus 2 root 2's. And by the way, that's the number between 0 and 1. So this is the radius, by the way, of the small circle. 3 minus 2 root 2 over 2, and we're done. Thank you.